we're on. Welcome in another podcast of the Cosmic Unity Temple. I am Dorota and I am Serenity Healing Center, and I'm here with Sabinka.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm Sabina and I'm with Ogi Temple and Healing Arts. And today we are meeting you guys here with another topic. And our topic for today is about the human aura and how emotions play a role in it. So, how they affect that energy field. So, we're going to touch up a little bit on what the emotions are, what the aura is, just a little bit for those who are not really familiar with the topic. And then we'll talk about our experiences because both I'm sorry, Dorota
Dorota.
we both are sorry, some technical difficulties before this one, so we're trying to get everything organized. But we both are holistic healing practitioners, and we both work with energy healing. We are very different. We do things from a different perspectives, but we both work with essential oils. So that's this one thing that really binds us together when it comes to emotions. So, the emotional field, maybe Dorotka can say a little bit, and then I can say a little bit. So tell us, how do you see that emotional body of ours?
So before I say anything else, I just want you to know, guys, we are doing this first time live on Facebook. And if you are here, hopefully you will talk to us. Doing this first time live on Facebook. And if you are here,
I gotta quiet this one baby down.
yeah, quiet that one down.
There you go.
It's totally
No.
raw. We are trying out things, so expanding our horizon, and hopefully this is gonna be fun. If not, at least it's gonna be funny, right?
We always have fun. That's the thing.
We always have fun when we
Yeah.
are together. We always have fun, live here or not live on YouTube or recordings. We always have fun with Sabina. Emotions, I think it's like an ocean. It's an ocean of ocean-like subject. I think I'm gonna say this way. Ocean-like subject is there is so much that we can talk about when it comes to our energy and how emotions affect us. From my own experience, and that's what mostly I'll be talking about. I am very careful when it comes to what my clients are experiencing, and a lot of you, hopefully some of you here on Facebook, know me and worked with me, so you know the way I work and the way I perceive our emotional body. Emotional body is very much like, I see emotional body and mental body like two twins. They're not totally identical, but they definitely walk in the same you're, for me at least, okay, I know that at some point you get so wise and so educated on yourself when you can, I don't know if I can say control, but you get wise up and you know what to do with when something in your mind triggers emotions, when something in your life triggers your emotions. I'm not that great yet. I'm still a work in progress.
All are.
We all are, right? So,
And it changes. And sometimes things, you think oh my gosh, I'm in a better place, but then something comes up because you were ready for it.
right.
Oh yeah.
So we are hoping that you're gonna join us here on Facebook and ask questions and make it fun and educational at the same time. Examples from life about myself. So when we have or when we experience emotional traumas, those make sort of like a dent what I see in auric field. Make distortion, can split or open your energy field and make you vulnerable to things from the outside. You can check if things that are coming towards you are yours or not yours. For those who never did that before, it's probably gonna be a little bit more challenging than for those who are already working with energy and know what energy field and aura is. And I think I'm gonna ask Sabinka, you have a lot of knowledge of auric field. I'm not saying I don't. I just want you to talk, not just look at me.
I enjoy looking at you. Well, yeah, so what is aura? We all have it. Every living organism on this planet and other planets have it because it's our energy field. And my understanding is it encompasses all of our information. So depending on our experience, depending on our feelings, emotions, everything's in there. So when people like us, me and Dorota, and other energy healer practitioners come to somebody's space, sacred space, because it's our sacred space. I like to call our sacred space. We are able to check that space and kind of feel how it feels, what's where, because that's it's just like a place of information, and we can find all kinds of information in there. And depending on how everybody is working, that information can help us. So when we are working with our well-being and trying to heal the physical body, we're not focusing on a disease, we're focusing on what's hurting that sacred space. So today I was thinking about doing like an example. So I was thinking about a flower. Think about a flower. A flower, to be healthy and to live, it needs light, it needs water, it needs the ground, it needs to have its roots safe. And there's all these things in an environment that the flower needs. When the flower gets sick, do we give it things to turn off and block something that tells the flower to its body, that it needs more sun? No. But we humans somehow along the way figured out how to turn off our body and not really listen to it. But when we take care of the flower, we can tell by, okay, its leaves are turning yellow, maybe it needs more water. So we work within the environment of that flower to kind of figure out what's going on with the flower. So same with us, we need to be aware about our environment. But for us, it's not only water, it's not only light, it's there's, to me, they're like symbolism to different things. Like water is our emotional field, light obviously are the healthy good emotions, and just us being open and just being ourselves and in our strength. So we need to focus on those things. So when we gotta heal our aura, our energy field, we have to focus on the things that we gotta fix within ourselves, that inner work for us humans, because the main thing that happens to us is that emotional body. I mean, Dorotka was doing a little retreat recently. There's more of those bodies. There's a spiritual, emotional, mental and physical. They're all very tightly connected. They're like one, but we don't see them as one. We don't work on them as one, and they all kind of go in a different direction, and we don't have our own direction. But I see it as it starts, we come here as a spirit, and our spirit has a purpose, has a mission, has gifts, has things that we want to do. And when we are not listening to that, it affects our mental body, then it affects our emotional body, and emotionally we get out of whack, angry, and there's just so many different emotions. I wrote some down just to give you an example. There's positive emotions, but there's also emotions like fear of being loved, fear of wisdom, being angry, being unhappy, shut down, withdrawn. There's just so many different ones, and we don't even really know how many there are. There's multiple of them. And when we tap into our field and to all these things, we can kind of figure out, what's happening. So our aura kind of holds that information, and we can figure out, okay, this is what's in there. You gotta work on that. So that's how I see our sacred space as the aura, and we can really tap into this, and that's something that everybody can do. And our goal is to have people learn about it and be guided by it.
Yes.
So that would be my
For
answer.
for those that for those who were in aromatherapy retreat with me, I presented a class. I am the master of who I am. That's when I was. This class was created from my own experience. I was working through those most visible aspects of self, like Sabinka mentioned, the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body. With those four bodies, we are the most connected for the most part through our life. There's more, a lot more. We are very complex beings. But those four, you can actually communicate. Anybody can communicate just by asking questions. You can ask your physical body. Will you know right away the answer? It comes with time as you practice. It doesn't just happen. It didn't just happen like that for me. With my education, funny thing is, I first feel, sense, or see, or hear things, and then I'm walking backwards. Wait a minute. What is this? How did this happen? What does that mean? Where am I getting this from? Always through asking myself questions. Recently, I wasn't that recently, a few months back, I had an interview on I Am Serenity Healing Center with Angela. Angela, to me, is a queen of questions. And I was laughing that it would be great if I can channel Angela and come up with some great questions here. But yes, questions will allow you to tap into receive that information that you need by acknowledging the connection between your mental, emotional, and physical, spiritual bodies. You expand your knowledge of self. So talking about emotional body, when the first time I was asking my physical body what it needs, how it feels, what I need to do, where is this coming from as far as like physical discomfort? Where is this coming from? And receiving like very clear information. This is this one. So let's say at one point I had my spleen showing up along with the spleen meridian. And how can I help to release that discomfort? Changing food. I wasn't eating the right food. Emotions. When I took my, in the exercise, when I took my emotional body and I connected with my physical body was screaming. It did not want to have anything to do with emotional body. Why? Because I was rejecting emotions. I wasn't accepting and letting them through and processing what was happening internally. And many times the emotions are so heavy and the experience in life is so drastic and dramatic that we may not be able to process it right away. We need help. And if we can't get help, we need to get to the point where we have the capacity to actually process that emotion, that we have internal strength to stand. If we are willing to do it on our own, we need to have the strength to process that.
Right.
But most of the time, because we are creatures of community, we find ourselves someone to help us in that process. And that's when people like me and Sabinka come and we guide and we help others to understand what is it that I'm feeling, what is the root of that feeling, and how we can help to release that.
Yes, can I jump in on that? Because actually
Sure, go ahead.
you touched something that I was thinking was really important. When when we're stepping onto this path and we're realizing, okay, everything's out of whack, my emotional body is not feeling great, and we're starting to seek help. We have to accept first where we are and that we want help and seek this help out, because sometimes our wounded self is so wounded that everything that we do, we block it, So for me, my example would be obviously emotional oils really helped me to strip down that very wounded self, but I still needed help. And what I did was I do Reiki healing. I'm a Reiki practitioner, and I also teach. But this is what I did. I didn't even go for a session. I actually went straight up for a level 1 attunement. And I remember how
What is
incredible.
that level 1 attunement? Sorry to
So
squeeze my fingers in.
no, that's fine. So that's what I wanted to say, that there's different modalities that you can reach out to, and if you feel called for it, that will help you tune into yourself. So for me, when I went for the attunement, it's pretty much, when it comes to Reiki, it's the universal life force energy. So it's learning about that energy. So it's learning about everything that has to do with energy. And in level 1, you learn about what's energy, how it feels, you learn about all these things. So how it feels in the body, and you practice on other people. You put your hands above them and you see how that feels. So you're turning at that sensory by receiving an attunement. So there's a Reiki master who sends in different codes that were brought up by the first Reiki master. There's symbols that they I don't know how to say it, and not implant, but they introduce those symbols into your energy field, and that's what attunes you to that Reiki energy. And then those symbols really widen your energy flow. They kind of like widen the core where the chakras are. That energy field gets wider. And I really, really felt that. I mean, I remember my first night, I was laying in bed, and it was an aha moment. After an aha moment, I was like, oh my God, things started getting connected, things started making sense. And obviously there's more attunement, so everyone did something different, but I vividly remember that the first one and the last one for the Reiki master was just like, with the master attunement, I was waking up in the bed and feeling one of the symbols laying by my leg. Its presence over there was very strange. So these really strange things would happen, but it was just like introducing me to the world of the unseen. So it was, I guess, now when I think of it, it's an activation of the third eye. It helps you understand and see energy, even though that's why it's so hard to explain, because it's not something that we see. We can see it, but we have to
It's the internal.
right. And it takes work, and it takes belief, and it just takes self-discipline and really following your own heart. And that's when
Welcome, Leshtina. Sorry.
hello.
We have somebody watching us. Hello. You can ask questions. We're so excited. We just can't hide it.
Thank you for joining. So yeah, you are reaching out and receiving help from other places. So that's what happened to me. I did the Reiki attunement, and that really helped me have that awareness of my energy, of other people's energy, and yeah, that's what I wanted to add when Dorota.
And it's always like at first you're learning who you are, where you are, where you begin, where you end. Where am I? Where is my space? recognizing first your own energy and then recognizing something that doesn't feel, doesn't look right, doesn't rhyme with who you are at the moment. So there is a huge chance that it's not yours, right? So let's talk about what are, for example, symptoms of how do you feel different energies, or how do you see different energies within your energy field? When do you sense that something, and how do you sense when something is off? How is it for you?
Well, I mean, I guess that's different for everybody. So for one thing, never judge yourself, never judge others. We all have different gifts, and you just follow your own. And don't compare yourself, because, for example, me and Dorota, we are completely different in this field.
Completely different.
I mean, I think, I don't know if there's more different than that, to be honest. We are millions of lights away,
But we are like this.
but we're like
Kind
this.
of, yeah.
Yes. So it's fascinating. But yes, for me, I carry, and I know Dorota does too, but I carry a lot of water energy. So I feel things in my body. I will physically feel things. Sometimes I get glimpses of visual things, and especially when I do a session, that's when I intentionally tap into this, and you know, and I work in a different way, I would say. But for me, it's just how I feel things. So let's say I'm somewhere at some event and I know how I feel. I know what inner work I've done. I know what are my emotions and which ones I work through. We were talking about this earlier today. So that's how we recognize them. So especially, we will attract people that are very much alike. So we will bring into our circles those people who are needed for us to heal whatever needs to be healed. So when you work through an emotion, let's say of anger, that's something that's very common in humanity. When you work through that, and you're not being angered so easily anymore, but you go somewhere and you start feeling angry, then you are like, okay, this is not mine. Like, I know that I've worked through this. And then you can notice the trigger level, right? Because you will still feel it because it was something that you had. But the more you work through it, that level is lesser, lesser, and lesser. So that's how you recognize that thing, right?
One thing about healing your emotions, healing is positive, but the journey from recognizing that this emotion needs releasing, that this pain needs to go, the journey from that moment to actually letting it go is not easy. That's not something that just comes poof. I don't know for you, but for myself, there is a lot of work that needs to be done, a lot of reviewing your own things, going backwards, and really, really deeply looking into yourself. And there's many times when someone feels like, oh, I released that already. And then boom, a few years or months later, it comes up again.
Right.
Why is that? Well, we are peeling the layers. We're going through the layers. If you have a house and the house has 12 rooms, are you able to clean all 12 rooms at the same time? No. You're gonna go room by room by room, and you're gonna keep sweeping, dusting, mopping until the whole house is clean. And that's how it works with us. We start at the easiest, I think.
I think the most obvious.
Yeah, most obvious,
Yeah.
the things that are just on the surface and it's so easy to touch. And once you get through that, the other part shows up. It's like curtain opens and here you go again. How are you gonna go through that? It's something that you cannot run away from. For those who are already on the journey, they know that. It's not something that someone will snap the fingers meditate through the hour with you and say poof, and it's gone. You are healed, and
No.
everything is beautiful. Doesn't work like that.
Mhm.
See it. How does
Accept
the
it.
processing
Right.
how does the processing looks like for you, Sabina?
It's the same. It's being very honest with yourself, very, I mean, brutally honest. It's being able to look into your own eyes and agree, okay, I messed up. I did something, I could have done it. But you can't really dwell on that aspect. You can
Mhm.
admit that to yourself and not feel bad with that, let that part go, and then just continue and self-love, self-belief, and always remember everything that happened, there was a reason for it. It had to be there. We had to learn it, so it's not that, okay, I made a mistake. I could have, should have, would have. No, you were exactly in where you were, and with that, that's the wisdom that you had, and it was there for a purpose. So now you're in a different place, and like Dorotka said, it comes back, but now you're in a different, now your consciousness is different. Now your well-being is different. Now you're stronger and you're able to get through this one, because this one is in a different level. It might pop from a different lifetime. You might be in a different circle of people. So
You
it's
gain self knowledge, right? Through
right,
these
right.
experiences. You know how you did it first time, and now you have tools to actually work through the next one.
Right.
And with each time gets easier. And I I wish we all had that magic pill that we could swallow and let go, and everything would be great. But it's a process, and it's for a reason. The more challenge we go through, the more knowledge we gain of ourselves.
Right. And the benefit, that's what I was going to say too, the benefit of that inner work, which, yes, it takes a lot, but is healing of that sacred space, of that aura. So when you work through all these things, because some people, and that changes too. So depending on where we are, we will see that different. We will explain it differently. I mean, I myself, ask me from year to year about things, and I will have a different perspective on it because I'm changing, I'm growing, and I see that differently now. But today, I know that, a lot of people say your aura is there for protection. Yes, that's true. But we have to realize that in order for that aura to really protect us, it has to be a healthy energy field. So it has to be strong. It cannot have any rips. What things make rips, for instance? Drugs make rips, drinking alcohol make rips, and anything that really expands your space and contracts it will create rips, and then it's easier for other people or other emotions to really attach to you because your sacred space is not protecting you anymore. So I'm going to just share an experience, and actually Dorota has the same one because it many times happens that we go through similar situations or we deal with similar things and our clients, and then we just kind of discuss it and talk about it and um, find healing ways to do it, or want to see how each one of us approaches it in a different way. But when it comes to rips in your aura, I mean, honestly, because our body is such a map of information and map of physicality, you can really, with good questions, because when you work, you just ask questions, you can really pinpoint where the you can see that where the rip is, but you can pinpoint where the emotion is coming from, or what kind of an emotion it's coming, like what lifetime even it's coming through. I mean, it's just fascinating. So that would recently happen. Like there was a person with a rip, and there was a certain emotion that was really interfering with this. And in order to heal that place, this person has to really focus on that emotion, and everybody who brings that in just to get stronger. Otherwise, you're very suspect. What's the word? You're very how about Dorotka? Like you're very
I don't know.
um, your space is open, so it's really easy for that particular thing to touch you.
Susceptive, that's what you were looking for.
Yeah,
Sorry.
English 101.
Yeah.
Um, but
We still learning.
right, what I was gonna say, it's kind of like you have a programming, right? You have your aura is your sacred space, but it's kind of a program that shields you from things. And there's, certain peoples are attracted to us because there needs to be healing. So there's a positive and a negative word. That's also another subject. It can be very complicated, but when they can hack your information, meaning that they know exactly what triggers you because of that energetical attraction, they can really use that to, I'm not going to say it, but manipulate you in a way, because some people do that. So when your space isn't strong, you're a victim of that stuff. So that's why healing your own energy and healing your own emotional field is so important.
Yes. Having an allowance in yourself too, because there's a lot of people who are making themselves a martyrs. I'll suffer because I am no good, because I did bad things, because I hurt somebody. And letting go of that self judgment and allowing yourself to heal, allowing yourself to let go, it's really, really important, because then you make room for new things, you expand. And for myself, for many, many years, I would work on something and always get stuck. And visually, what it looked like for me, it was I walked through the hallway, I got to the door, and behind the door is another hallway or another room I have to go through, but I can't get past that. Why? Because there was something that happened, created emotional block within my energy, and I was stuck on one side. Once you work through that, and I did have help. I mean,
You
for
have to
the
have help. In those
for
situations, you do, because you're hiding those things from yourself
a lot of
on such
times,
a level that
absolutely, we're so good at
yes,
hiding
you're us.
stuff.
We are. We're hidden somewhere. So even
Yes.
for us, when we do this work and we help others, even for us, we will tap into the situations and things. And for me, how that shows up is when somebody tells me something and they're kind of like, I have some awesome friends who are, like Dorota and others, and they will say something, Sabina, you're blocking this. And they say a sentence and it just goes right over my head. And I don't even understand what they said. That's when I know I have a block. I'm like, whoa, okay, I'm not getting it at all. Please say it again. That's how it shows up. So I am so good. And somebody told me this actually in the beginning. I'm so good in forgetting things that one time we were sitting in a circle and we were just, because this is what we do with our friends. We sit and actually every gathering is doing inner work of some sort. So this time it was my time and I'm sitting there and I go blank. I mean, I don't know what anybody said. I forget what I was just thinking about. Very bizarre. And I'm just sitting there and I go, okay, you guys, I have no idea what we're talking about. I don't know what I want to say. And somebody mentioned it to me. The person said, "You are so good at forgetting and wanting to forget things or certain things that we don't even remember." And I'm like, "Whoa, that was
Master.
that was interesting." And that helped me realize how much strength I have as a being, whatever being. And then I was like, so it was a positive and a negative thing at the same time, but it helped me feel stronger for some reason because I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I am good at some things. Even this is a bad thing. And I was able to get in there because somebody kind of uncovered it for me. But it was just like, oh, okay, because we do manifest. I mean, even if we don't think we do, even if it's a negative thing, we always make things happen. And at that point, I realized that I'm making something happen. And I guess I didn't think that I could, if that makes sense. But
Yes.
that was my experience.
So We are few minutes before we need to end, so I was thinking about bringing up some ways of releasing stuff, maybe some tips for others. So the most visible way of starting this journey of releasing things, when you think about your physical body and putting up layers, what do we do when we are struggling with emotions? In a lot of cases, we're putting on weight. We're trying to protect ourselves, not knowing that we just hiding. We're trying to hide that emotion. We're putting on layers. So we do emotional eating or emotional starvation. It could go either way. So we disappearing to the center, or we expanding, depending on, because we are all different, right? We do process things different way. We process emotions different way. So let's say you are on a journey of trimming and beautifying your physical appearance. So when you start releasing the physical weight, whatever is hiding between the layers of your physical body is gonna start coming to the surface. It's gonna start showing itself. And whatever the addictions, because we all have addictions, good, bad, whatever. It's addiction, just like energy. It's energy. White, black, dark, gray, whatever, it's energy. So when we start releasing those layers of physical body, those things are coming up, and you get to see how much you hide within your physical body. Your emotions also get stuck in your organs, and there's a lot of it. The information about which organs and which emotions and where and how, you can find it on the internet. It's so smart these days. Even I use it. But that's the first.
Skin was for me. So
Skin,
you're
absolutely.
saying hiding or
Yes.
expanding. I was hiding with whatever was happening on my skin, and that prevented me from going outside into the world. And that was my thing.
Getting exposed, right?
Yes.
Yes. So looking for the ways to start releasing your emotions, really who you are is going to attract the way you heal. And just being open and allowing yourself to be vulnerable, to talk to someone about your emotions. I think that's a first step. If you keep everything inside, one day those emotions will pop the cork, and that's going to be more unpleasant than actually healing and releasing it with someone else's help.
That's how disease happens. Those emotions, when they're in there, they actually they create an entanglement. And I once visited this lady who was showing us the blood underneath the microscope, and I physically saw one of the entanglements. It was incredible. I was like, oh my God, there's a proof for my work. It was amazing. But that's what happens. There's an entanglement, so the energy is the nourishment for whatever body organ or whatever spot in your body it is. And when that energy is not released and that entanglement is there for years, it creates disease. So that's why
Absolutely.
that's that walking backwards. It's like, okay, well, what's the root of this? What happened? What somebody said to me, or when did I get stuck? When did I say no to life?
Yes, essential oils are very helpful when it comes to emotional release and mental work, affirmations, and lots of questioning of yourself.
But I gotta say,
Question.
therapeutic grade essential oils, because we don't always say it, 'cause
Yes.
we know it. But recently I met a lady who was also doing therapeutic grade essential oil, and she's like, oh my God, there's so much misinformation out there. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you're right. Like, I know this, but if you're using oils and they're not therapeutic grade essential oils, but they are according, pure or organic or something. She said, and I heard 5%, but she said only one drop of a pure material in there is enough for it to be called pure or organic. So
Yes,
you don't really know what's in there. It has to be a therapeutic grade because it's meant for healing. So just remember that.
absolutely. And you don't have to put it on your skin. Essential oils work from the diffuser, from smelling it from the bottle. There's a lot of very simple ways to use them, and they are very helpful. I did mention that Feelings Kit was one of the first ones that I had used on myself and felt the effect of it almost right away. So Sabina and I are here. If your flavor is Reiki, Sabina is in Wisconsin. If you have any other flavors, because I just call it energy, I don't have a name.
It doesn't really have a name.
No, it doesn't. Comes always from the source, and that's what I call it. Source energy, and
And since
we
it's energy, it can be done long distance. So Dorota's in
absolutely,
Texas, but it doesn't matter. It can be done. It's energy, you tap into it without
yes,
location.
very simple tools for very for difficult situations, I would say. Releasing emotions is always challenging, and working through that, it's good to have help. I had help, Sabina had help. I always ask, who heals the healer? Who heals the healer?
You have to have people. I mean, recently
Absolutely.
I've been going through these events and I met this lady. She's a psychic medium and she does readings for people from all over the world. But she's like so drained and so tired and I asked her, I'm like, what do you do for yourself? You're helping all these people. And she mentioned when you do work with people on the other side, so you're helping somebody connect to somebody who passed away. She said it's a lot harder. It takes a lot more energy. So you have to take care of yourself. I mean, us especially, because we're tapping into that energy all the time. It's very important.
Basic safety. Take care of yourself. Make sure you are connected and you are well grounded. And yes, that's very important for any aspect of healing. We all have mentors. Like I mentioned, Angela Blaha, Miriam Wiedemann, Kate Brown, Rita, so many of them. I mean, all of the people that I was taking classes with online that were and are my mentors on a daily basis. These people help me, guide me through this journey to heal myself, and I am not done. I stand in a mirror every day. When my emotions come up, I ask myself, where is this coming from? What am I feeling? Why am I feeling? What is the root of it? Is this mine? First, is this mine? If not,
That's a tricky question though, right? Because like in the beginning, you have to be in a certain place to realize what yours were
yes.
not.
And sometimes you lie to yourself. No, it's not
Oh,
mine.
yeah, that's what I'm
Nah,
saying. That many times
I
people,
am not that.
yeah, no, blaming others, but I think when you're
No,
really honest, you always go back to yourself, and that's
yeah,
what you relate on, like,
yes,
what am I feeling? Why am I feeling like this? Because
yes.
it's us.
And don't get me wrong, there is a lot of times that it's not yours, especially for those who are very empathic. You can how would you call it? You can actually adopt somebody else's energy, thinking that it's yours because you're feeling it so strong, but it's not really yours. And with
An example,
practice, go
give
ahead.
an example of an emotion. So like what does that mean? Because
Uh, what would that be? Emotion. I really, anger. Anger is the easiest, right? First, when you were talking about anger, why do we feel anger? Anger always comes from fear. It's either love or fear. That's how I see it. If I am afraid because I don't have enough knowledge and I don't feel comfortable, that can make just fearful, but I can also get angry because I don't know it and I want to know it and I want to understand. So anger is the easiest, I think, and most common, that we feel. And then you just ask yourself, why would I be angry? Where is this anger coming from? And like Sabinka said, because you know the anger, because you experience the anger. Why you feel the anger so strongly? Because maybe you have anger within yourself that you have not processed yet, and something still needs healing. So keep asking yourself, where is it coming from? Is this mine? It doesn't feel like it's mine in this area. Okay, could it be in this area? Could it be this? Is it still mine? No. Return to sender with all the consciousness attached. Bye bye.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Yeah.
There
But
is
like,
a
let's say heart palpitations too. I've been experiencing that recently, and I don't have any heart issues. Um,
okay.
Sometimes you go somewhere, and especially today with all the solar storms, the eclipse and all of that, it's really affecting a lot of people. So like this happened to me recently. I went somewhere and I was standing by somebody, and then my husband was actually talking with the person, and he tapped into that, and I was like, oh my God. And I was standing there thinking, what is going on with me? Why my heart started beating so, but I was judging myself. I'm like, okay, oh my gosh, like it's a long story. I'm not gonna go into it like this, but then it turned out that somebody else actually in that same area who was standing with us was having hard stuff happening.
Yes.
Yeah, and I
It
almost
doesn't always have to be emotional stuff, right?
yeah,
Because I did sense the physical discomfort in the body too, and it was not mine. It belonged to someone. It's very often when we are very close with someone, family members, friends,
mhm,
um, our spouses, our kids,
mhm.
we feel what they feel, and sometimes we feel it so strongly that we think it's ours. So there is a lot to learn about us because we are very complex, beautiful beings. Yes,
Looks like we're gonna be wrapping it up, right?
yes, yes.
Okay, so we're gonna be doing, this was a live. We did we do some in Polish, we do rerun. So this is gonna be a rerun. Not sure if it's gonna be live or not. But me and Dorota, we do these awesome conversations and always fun. And I wish it lasted longer every time, but we have to go. But there's gonna be more. We do have the Cosmic Unity Temple podcast. It's a channel. We have everything under description when we post it on YouTube. So look for us, and if you like this, come and join us again.
Yes.
And let's
We'll
learn.
see you in the next one. And for those of you who joined us today, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much for those who are going to be watching us later. Do visit our podcast YouTube channel. Go back to our older recordings, and we're not that old.
Not that old. We're pretty new actually. So there's not a lot,
Yes.
but they're fun. They're definitely fun. And
We're trying to make it fun and as relaxed as possible. Today was totally raw. We had a little bit of technical challenges, but hey, those always come in, and we hope that it's fun for you. We try to be as authentic as we can. We are not experts, and by all means, we do work with the energy every day. We work on ourselves and on our clients. So there's some experience in it. And we're getting better each time, right, Sabina? Yes. We talk between each other and review our stuff together, helping ourselves and helping each other with stuff. So we hope that you guys like it. We hope that it sounds fun, if not fun, at least funny. You have to be able to laugh at yourself. That's
number one.
Yeah, gotta be laughing at something in life. There's a laughing, I don't know if it's called meditation, but definitely therapy, where you make yourself laugh, and that just helps. That helps. So laugh, people. Even if you're laughing at us, hopefully you're laughing with us.
Laughter is actually the opposite emotion of anger. So
There you go.
that's
Keep laughing. So
keep laughing.
until next time, keep laughing every day.